Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a Raw review for May 28th, 2018. This is a day late, and a lot of my reviews are probably going to be a little bit late for a while. On top of watching wrestling, I'm a big fan of the Bachelor series of TV shows. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. I like the shows. I started watching a couple years ago. I watched The Bachelorette right now ahead of Raw. If Raw was any good, I'd have a debate about it, but Raw hasn't been all that great, and The Bachelorette is just pure garbage, but in a good way. I really enjoy it, so I'm going to watch that instead. So I'm a day late doing this. This is the Memorial Day edition of Raw. We get a Memorial Day, I have trouble with that word, intro package, good video package. WWE always does a great job with these things. This is no different, so that's good. Just to let you know, I'm going to try to be a little bit more brief on these reviews. I find that going move by move, it's kind of draining me and making the experience of watching the show really hard. So what I do now is I'll watch a segment, and then I'll write what I remember or what I thought was notable, and then I'll move on. Sometimes I'll write a little bit more if I actually really like the segment, but in most cases I'm hoping to kind of shorten things up a little bit. I know I'm explaining all this and it's making my video longer, but hopefully future videos will be a little bit shorter. It's just kind of draining on me to write all this stuff. Like, I literally have sometimes 3 pages of notes after an episode. Today, 1.5, so that's good. So we start off with Braun Strowman coming out to the ring, just says his piece. Finn Balor's music hits, he goes into the ring. Strowman tosses him easily across the ring. Kurt Angle comes out, says that, and I should mention that Balor did mention that he was the first Universal Champion and never got his rematch or another shot at it. And he's absolutely right. This is a stupid thing. You shouldn't, when you come back from injury after losing a title, or after not losing a title, having to give it up, you should get first crack at it as soon as you're healthy enough. It feels like the right thing to do, so I'm okay with that. Kurt Angle comes out. He makes a match between Strowman and Finn Balor. KO's music hits later on, and he comes out for commentary. So during the match, pretty typical match. Strowman being big, dominant, Balor using speed whenever he can. During the match, Kevin Owens will kind of grab a mic, and he urges on a certain superstar. Like, he talks to Strowman, tells him to do certain things, or he says to Balor that he's the extraordinary guy, so he should do an extraordinary thing. He's just kind of being a jerk. It's fine. Strowman does the running around the ring thing, but instead of kind of just bumping Balor with his shoulder, he actually throws him over into the crowd, essentially. That's okay. Then Balor actually hits the coup de grace on Strowman. He doesn't go for the pin. He realizes he needs to do it a second time. Logically, I didn't mind this at all. Goes for the second one. Owens runs in, knocks Balor off, takes out Balor, and then we see that KO tries to hit Strowman with a ladder, but Strowman catches it, and KO kind of gets shoved out of the ring, starts running away, and Strowman throws a ladder at KO, which is a bit dangerous with the crowd there, but seems safe enough. So yeah, KO just kind of runs away scared. Kevin Owens we come back from commercial, and he's trying to escape the arena. He yells at a valet to get his car, but then Kurt Angle comes out. He says, "Why are you going away? You actually have a match tonight with Bobby Roode," because he talked about Bobby Roode while he was on commentary. So Kevin Owens is really kind of angry and goes back to the locker room. We get a quick little cell phone promo from Sasha Banks saying that her name's already on the contract for being, or in terms of, I believe it's on the Money in the Bank contract, she says. But anyways, there's a gauntlet match tonight. It's setting that up. I don't know why I'm struggling so much with my words. Maybe it's because I'm just tired. Gonna be a tough week at work this week. I guess I'm tired. Elias says, Elias is in the ring, starts playing. He actually does a nice little breakdown there. I thought his guitar playing was better than usual. He says he knows they're in the South, so but he asked the crowd to still try to keep up. I thought that was great, because they're in Richmond, Virginia, by the way. He asked them he asks the light guys to bring the light in on him a little bit more because this crowd is disgusting. I thought that was great. He also asks for more vocals. Says that he has to do everything this day. He wants to hear more of himself, less of them. Refuses to leave until the crowd is quiet. We go into commercial that way. We come back from commercial. He says, we're going to try this again. Crowd's still not quiet. And Seth Rollins' music hits. Rollins gets into the ring. Kind of does a little face-off thing with Elias. Throws his bench out. And Elias opts not to fight him. Just kind of walks out. We have a Mahal versus Rollins match. Rollins kind of leads the match, we'll say, until Singh distracts him. So Sunil Singh distracts him, and then Mahal gets the advantage. I've made a couple little notes here. Mahal uses the Gutbuster again, the kind of fireman's carry into a double knee Gutbuster. I really like that move. I think it's a good addition to his arsenal. Singh tries to interfere at one point. He's sent to the back by the ref. While that happens, Mahal hits Rollins with a chair, but only gets a near fall out of it. Singh interferes again. Rollins ends up buckle bombing him into Mahal in the corner. Then Rollins is in the corner and kind of looks down and he sees that chair from earlier on, grabs the chair and just starts attacking Mahal with the chair. And he also hits Singh with it. It didn't feel like what a good guy would do, but that's going to be a running theme here. Elias, Rollins hits guys with chairs. Then he's kind of celebrating on the announcer table, and Elias comes out with his guitar and just smashes it on Rollins' back, sending him off the table. It was super dramatic in terms of the hit and stuff. I thought it was well done. There is a photo set of the troops when they come back from a commercial again. They're going to do that throughout the night. So it's like WWE interacting with some troops. We see Rollins being put on a stretcher, but he kind of says, give me a second, and he walks off under his own power. Nia Jax is coming out to the ring. Ronda Rousey's music kind of interrupts a little bit before she gets to the ring. Nia goes into the ring and grabs a mic. There's a jobber there called Michelle Webb. They say that she's like a judo practitioner. Nia's kind of talking to Ronda throughout the match, says she's going to let Webb put her in an armbar. So she gets put in the armbar, fakes it hurting, but gets up and just slams Webb down. Then she hits her with a Samoan drop and a leg drop. And she says, this, you can count to 20, she's done, and just keeps talking like that. Then she calls out Ronda to help Webb. Ronda comes out, but then Nia just kind of walks out of the ring. Whatever. As a segment on its own, this would have been really good if Nia Jax was established as a heel. How stupid are they? Like, when did Nia Jax turn? This is the moment? Is it her walking up to Ronda with a smiling face at some charity thing for NBC or whatever it was? Is that when she turned heel? Like, she never turned heel. But then she's a heel. It makes no sense. It was such a dumb, I wanted to murder people after this. This is, okay, maybe not murder, but strangle to the point where they kind of see the end. I don't get it. I was so angry, and this is going to make the video go long because I'm just so angry about it. I can't let it go. I can't really say I was enjoying this episode. I was tolerating this episode, and then this happened, and it just made it so difficult to keep going because this is so intentionally, aggressively stupid. You're paying people to think of these things, and this is what they come up with. It would have been fine if she was a heel. It makes perfect sense if she's a heel. It was actually kind of a good segment if she was a heel. But you didn't establish her as a heel. It makes no sense. It killed me, and it ruined any goodwill this episode had for me. And it's a really frustrating thing, because I thought there was some pieces of this episode of Raw that were okay. I'm not gonna say great, but okay. But this just, oh my god, the stupidity. Like, they've done it a few times with bad guys being good guys being bad guys. But they never did it with someone who was like kind of new to being something, and then kind of over as that thing, and then just flipping them for no reason. Like, they did it with Natalya, but no one cares about Natalya. So who cares if she's a face or a heel? It's fine. Like, well, it's not fine. It's still stupid that they do that. But it's not as big a deal. But Nia Jax had the crowd going. The only time she didn't have the crowd is when they made her do the stupid Be a Star promo. But even then, she recovered from that. She seemed to still have good favor with the crowd, and then she just comes out and she's a complete bitch. It makes no sense. I'm so angry, and I shouldn't be angry about dumb things like wrestling, but it just frustrates me that some people in this world are so stupid that they would do this. Did I miss an episode of Raw? I feel like I might have missed an episode of Raw. I'm losing my mind right now. It was just so dumb. Okay, I'm going to move on. There's way too many rants online about all of these other things. I can't become a ranter. I don't want to be that. We have Dana Brooke. She cuts another cell phone promo like all the other women in the Gauntlet match have done. She's doing a strategist type thing, running the numbers. I like Dana Brooke as a talker. As a wrestler, I think she could be something. They don't trust her, and she botched a lot early on. But I feel like she could become something. It's not like she's wasted. But yeah, I think she's a good talker. I didn't mind this promo at all. Then we had a match between the Leaders of World and the Ascension. I wrote this match went way longer than I thought it would. I thought it would be a straight up squash, but Ascension got a lot of offense in. But eventually, you did get the kiss landed for the win for the Leaders of World. The kiss being a Sister Abigail, but two people doing it at the same time. We have a backstage thing with the B Team and Kurt Angle. The B Team are laughing at the lame celebration by the Leaders of World. And B Team are notoriously good celebrators. They ask Angle for a title shot. Angle says, "You've only beaten one team and you beat them twice. That's not a big deal." Axel says he thinks things about Kurt Angle, but he says them out loud, and Kurt's like, "I can hear you," and he does it a couple times. I thought that was the best thing about this promo, was Axel's saying things about Angle and pretending or not knowing that he's saying it out loud, or not knowing that Angle can hear him. I thought it was kind of interesting. Bo decides that they need to get the blessing of other teams to get the title shot, so they're going to throw a barbecue. You know what's coming when food is related with wrestling? A food fight, you're right. We're going to see that later. We get another cell phone promo this time. It's the entire Riot Squad. I just wrote, not bad. It was okay. I think Ruby Riot's a good promo. Liv Morgan is a okay promo. And Sarah, is it Logan? I always forget her last name. Is a kind of bad promo, but if you hide her, it's fine. So then we get the match between Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens. Notable moves, I guess, were a cannonball to the outside. At one point, Owens tries to run away, but Roode catches him. When Roode's getting back in the ring, though, Owens hits him with a super kick for a near fall. Roode attempts a glorious DDT. It's countered, and then there's an attempted roll-up by Roode, but Kevin Owens manages to stack him up and gets the win. On his way back to the up the ramp, Kevin Owens he hears Strowman's music. He's kind of caught there. Roode blocks him from running away, and so Strowman power slams Owens twice. Roode is cheering him on like an asshole throughout this process. Should watch my language more, but whatever. And so you know he's going to get it too, and sure enough, Strowman power slams Roode, and that's the end of that segment. It was fine. It was exactly what you'd expect, but sometimes predictable is fine. Sometimes. Then we have Sami Zayn. They announced that he's going to make a public apology. I thought this was actually pretty good. He quotes many of the criticisms of the segment last week, saying like it was the worst segment of the year, and just all these kind of Twitter trolling of the segment, which was all fair. It was a horrible segment. And then he comes out and he says, you know what, I did something that I said I would never do. I lied to you. And he admits that the sisters were not actually Bobby Lashley's sisters. They were actually men that he had hired. And I thought this was kind of clever, like him saying this as if the crowd was not aware of this. That was great. He struggles with saying that he's sorry. And then he quickly moves on to say, you know, while it was all kind of a ruse, it was all rooted in truth. Nothing he said was a lie. Everything that was said was true. He plays the victim, says the crowd should feel sorry for him. They should apologize to him. Then Lashley's music hits. He comes out, salutes military families. A bit out of place, but whatever. He is a person who should be saluting military families, being that he is from one. That's a good idea. It's just when it happened was weird. He challenges Sami to a match at Money in the Bank. They do a handshake thing where Lashley just won't let go and kind of squishes Zayn's hand like crazy. And then he apologizes to Sami for future damage he's going to inflict on him at Money in the Bank. It was fine. Mickie James talks about her experience in a cell phone promo being her edge in the gauntlet match that night. Then we have Drew McIntyre versus Chad Gable. McIntyre kind of dominates. Gable does hit a beautiful moonsault at one point. Then Gable tries to jump onto McIntyre on the outside from the second rope. McIntyre catches him, throws him into a post, and then hits a Claymore for the win. McIntyre should dominate over Gable right now as it sits. I would love to see Gable go on a nice run, but the way they've done it, they had Ziggler beat Gable. You need to have McIntyre beat him faster, because eventually you're going to get to the point where McIntyre realizes that Ziggler is just kind of bringing him down. So that was fine. Then we have the B Team BBQ featuring all the jobber tag teams. At one point, Titus Worldwide complained about the barbecue. Oh, excuse me. Heath Slater gets up and he strongly defends the food at the barbecue. Rhino, and he says Rhino's enjoying it, and Rhino was sitting throughout just eating the barbecue food. I actually thought that Slater kind of talking up this meal like it was the fanciest meal on earth with bologna sandwiches and things like that was pretty good. But then a food fight breaks out, and I hate everything about this. I also hate that the Revival is in this. Every other team that's in there, that's fine, but I hate that the Revival are at this level right now. Eventually, though, the B Team get back into the ring, where Rhino was sitting and just eating his sandwiches throughout this kind of food fight. And they throw Rhino through a table, so they kind of stand tall. We go to the back after a commercial, and the B Team demand a title shot again. And Angle says no, but he will make a tag team battle royal next week, and they can be in it. I think that is for a title shot. Bayley comes into the ring. She's the first contestant in the gauntlet match. She talks to Charlie, says a little bit about all the kind of competitors. Nothing great. Typical kind of face promo. That's fine. So then we get the match. It starts with Bayley versus Liv Morgan. Right away, Bayley hits a belly to belly. It's within a second. Morgan is out. So then it's Sarah Logan comes in. There's an early Bayley to belly. Sorry, attempt, but Logan manages to escape it. Logan hits a sliding knee for a near fall. It looked pretty cool, but Bayley gets a roll up. And she eliminates Logan. Logan and Morgan attack Bayley for a while, and then Ruby Riot's music hits. Well, the same music hit 3 times. So they basically drew all the same numbers in a row. I don't like when they do that kind of stuff with the Royal Rumble and all this stuff. So Riot comes in. They kind of battle it out for a few seconds, but it's not very long, really. Riot ends up draping Bayley's arm over the top rope, which kind of distracts Bayley and allows her to hit her Riot kick, and she eliminates Bayley that way. It was kind of a surprisingly short elimination. Then Dana Brooke came in. Brooke looking good. She Displays her athleticism with that kind of tumbling elbow in the corner. She seems to have the advantage, but then Riot manages to sneak in a Riot kick on her too, and she eliminates her. Then we have Mickie James. It's her hometown. James hits a top rope, and I wrote Meteora. They don't call it that when James hits it, but I wrote it even though she didn't quite hit it. She hit it a little low. She misses a Mick kick, but Riot misses her Riot kick. James then sets up a DDT, starts kind of showboating, but she gets rolled up with a handful of tights by Riot, and so Riot eliminates her. So then we end up with Riot versus Sasha Banks. Sasha dominates early. There's a weird Rana transition near the ropes between them. It just looked a little botchy. There's a top rope Meteora for a near fall. Then Riot hits this kind of monkey flip, spring off the ropes, tornado DDT thing. I thought it was a really kind of interesting kind of transition. I liked it. There's tons of near falls. Eventually, when Riot's in quite a bit of trouble, the Riot Squad tries to interfere. Banks manages to kind of get rid of them. And then she still manages to tap out Ruby Riot. So Sasha Banks earns the shot at Money in the Bank as a result of this. And we still have nothing resolved in terms of a conflict between Bayley and Banks. So that's kind of interesting. Hopefully something happens at Money in the Bank. So overall, how did I feel about this? Well, a lot of it was booked a little weird. Faces not being faces. Some good stuff. Like I did enjoy the Sami Zayn bit. I thought he kind of recovered from a horrible segment last week. Made fun of himself just enough, and then he's a good enough talker that he kind of saved it. I thought that there were a couple little comedic moments that were good, but I thought the wrestling overall was kind of, I don't want to say garbage, but there was no like special match tonight. There was nothing to really hold on to. A couple, like I said, the comedy bits were the best. I thought Elias really did great. But at the end of the day, the lasting impression I got from this match, even though the gauntlet match at the end was fine, the lasting impression I got from this whole thing was the Nia Jax heel turn that never happened until now, even though there's no explanation for why it happened. No matter, you could have had the best Raw ever and put that on there, and I couldn't have given it a good score, or at least a great score. So the lowest score I've ever given to something is 5.5 out of 10. I think, to me, there were some good pieces to this, but that thing just ruined it for me. I'm going to go 5 out of 10. It's the lowest score I'm probably ever going to give. I just can't go any lower than that, but there you have it. I'm kind of exhausted from this whole episode. That took so much out of me. All right, thanks for watching.